welcome back to my studio. Today I wanted to show you my palette, just colors that I enjoy that I have put out today to work with on some different paintings. This piece in particular is a cradle panel, and it is a 12 by 12. It has one coat of Indian yellow, which is a great base to start with. And I wanted to take you step by step as I start layering on more colors. I'm going to sort of dive into this piece and very intuitively, not knowing exactly where it's going, but I want you to come along with me and join me while I apply some paint today. So the next layer that I'm going to put on is a color by Gamblin, which is an Asphaltum. It is one of my favorite colors. It is a beautiful, rich, dark brown, and you can put it on very opaquely, very thickly, or you can pull it out so that it thins out and is more transparent. All of my paint on my palette has already been mixed in a 50-50 ratio, paint to wax, and I either use the Dorland's or the Gamblin cold wax. Use a lot of paper towels and wet ones to clean up in between colors. And the color that I am picking up now is a beautiful color by Charvin, which is a French paint. And it is Pozzoli's Red. One of my favorite colors to work with as well. I am just layering and playing as I go. A lot of the fun of painting in oil and cold wax is experimenting and just seeing what it does, pushing it further. This is a Messermeister bowl scraper that I use. It's a silicone bowl scraper. It pulls the paint beautifully. This is another Charvin color called Aubere. Let's see, Aubere pink, I think. Which layers so beautifully, and it mixes and blends because everything is very wet right now. I just want to start building this painting. I also enjoy using a transparent earth red by Gamblin to mix into that. Now I want to show you, as you're building your layers, you can use Gamsol made by Gamblin, which is an odorless mineral spirit. It also acts as a lifting, which it will lift through the different layers of paint. And when you have a wet layer, there are a couple of ways to lift through so you show those under layers of paint. One is by putting the Gamsol in a spritz spray bottle. Lots of different ones to check out. But you just hold it and you spritz. And you let the Gamsol, the solvent, sit for a few seconds. I joke in a lot of my workshops that if you'll sing a little bit of happy birthday, that's sort of when you might know to pull that off so you get that beautiful lift to show you that history of the color that's underneath. It's trial and error. You just have to play and practice with it. If you don't leave it on long enough one time, you can try it again, leave it a few seconds longer, and then pull and see what you get. You get some very interesting patterns. And you also have the choice of leaving it or covering it up, just according to what direction that you want your painting to go. So it's lifting and showing you that beautiful Indian yellow underneath. Another way to do a solvent lift is by using the fine line applicator bottles. They have a needle nose tip. And a lot of these are on the market, but you can actually have a little more control, making lines, circles, swirls, and it's the same effect. You just let it sit for a few seconds so that it cuts through the different layers of paint and shows you what is underneath. Get some interesting effects and patterns. Sort of a mark making tool in a way with the solvent. And along with the Gamsol, we can also use Citrusolve, which is a citrusy, orangey smelling solvent that's found in grocery stores. And it's a little stronger than the Gamsol, so if you have a lot of layers of paint, you need to cut through a little deeper, you can use the Citrusolve. Also, if you enjoy the scent, Citrusolve is really nice. And you can play with the amount of pressure and the angle that you are using your squeegee scraper to pull, so that you have lots of different effects. And like I say, if there's a part of it or all of it that you don't like and you want to do something else, you can come back in, put another layer, and just cover bits and pieces of that. The key to a solvent lift is that it has to be a wet layer, and it's playing with it and experimenting with it enough so that you know about how long to leave the solvent on before you lift it or pull it. Let's see, I'm going to try something else here to show you. I picked up some titanium white and some warm white. A lot of times I just enjoy dots and splatters. So you can use your fine line applicator and sling the paint to achieve some dots. And so we let that sit for just a few seconds. It is also dependent on how thickly or thinly your layers are. Of course, if the paint is put on a little more opaquely, a little thicker, it'll take a few more moments for the solvent to lift what is underneath it. But this is another way of, without the spritz, of achieving this dotted effect. So you leave that just a few seconds longer if the paint is a little thicker, and the white is usually just a little thicker. But you get the idea of how you can achieve some of those solvent lift techniques. I'm just going to continue painting for a few minutes and see where this piece goes. I enjoy using tissue paper to put on, and with a soft brayer, you push that in on some of your wet layers so that you achieve a little bit of a texture and a pattern that also pulls up to those bottom layers and colors. And this makes very interesting collage paper possibly later. Another thing that you can do with your tissue paper is if you have another piece of work that you might be working on, you can use that tissue paper as a transfer to give you a little bit of texture on another piece. So you have a beautiful type of texture going on, and you're transferring that paint and not wasting any of that paint. I also enjoy using the color shapers to apply paint. This is one of the Chardonnay colors. So I am continuing just to play and see what develops with this painting. Just layering. Trying the new tools as well, like the color shapers and the Messermeister squeegee scraper. If you haven't used them before, give yourself some time to adjust to using tools that are different than a paintbrush. Allow yourself that time to play. I enjoy moving color all around the painting. If I use color in one area, I try to move it to other areas as well, so that that color is showing up in different places. Applying some paint with a brayer. Brayer can give you a different texture, but you can always use your scraper to smooth it down if you like the texture to be just a little softer. This is a green, beautiful soft green that I mixed with a turkey umber greenish and an ash green, I think it's called, from Charbon. It's a very soft, subtle touch of green. Use a sharp utensil of some kind to scratch through and let the under layer show through for some mark making. And I think I'm going to stop on this piece for just a little bit and let my eyes look at it for a few moments, few hours, and then I will come back to it and see what I can do to it next. Thank you so much for joining me today in the studio, and come back tomorrow and we will see what the next step is. And if you enjoy my channel and you haven't subscribed as of yet, please do hit that red button and subscribe. Thanks, everyone.